Hello, Combo Nation. It is Grown B, Blazed Up, X-Man, and La Freedom. And what's yours again? Is it X-Man?
X-Man.
You blazed up?
Mm-hmm. He ain't really blazed up.
Or are you Apple Fruit?
Apple Fruit?
Oh my
We're gonna go with Berserker Boy. Berserker Boy.
Berserker Blitz.
I'll go Berserker Blitz.
Okay, Berserker Blitz. Alright.
And I am the Shark Freedom.
Alright, well today we're going to be talking about movies and television. This is going to be our segment for the week as far as movie and television is concerned. I'm going to be hosting it today. And so we're going to go through and we're going to talk about Prime, WWE/WWF. We're going to be reviewing our movie of the month, which is Bad Boys for Life, which is, I guess, Bad Boys 3.
Bad Boys 3.
And then we're actually going to talk a little bit about Kobe and his legacy. And yeah, that's kind of everything that we got on the schedule for today. So if anything else just kind of falls together, then we'll talk about that as well. Let's start with... Y'all want to start with the review?
Let's start with the review because
Yeah,
it's been a good while.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and start with the review. And man, I just want to say, watching that, I was very pessimistic about this movie, I'll be honest. I liked the first Bad Boys. I really liked the second Bad Boys. And sometimes we get to a point where we're like, all right, is this a cash grab or not?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that the chemistry and I think that everything that Bad Boys was about, I felt like bringing it back after all these years, that they may try too hard or they may undersell, you know, what the movie is supposed to be and the connections and everything like that. Like it's so hard to come back to a movie like that after so long. And so I was very, very pessimistic about it. Just as a loyalist in general, you know, my intent was always to go out and see the movie, but I'm sitting here thinking like, oh man, I really hope that they don't kind of mess up how I feel about this series, because I did feel like it closed out in a good way. What were kind of y'all's thoughts, like when y'all first heard, well, really kind of in the rumor section of it, because I think there was about 8 months of rumors.
Not only that, it was like 2 years for rumors, because whenever Will Smith first put his YouTube up, he made a comment like about it that he wouldn't mind doing a Bad Boys 3 as long as the script was good.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they officially announced it, and it's funny that you said cash grab, because a lot of people wanted him to do like I Am Legend 2, and he knew that the way I Am Legend ended, if they did make a sequel, it would be a cash grab, because there's no reason to kind of continue that story. With Bad Boys, Will Smith, the way he really goes in the movies, he just doesn't do sequels unless it actually either means something to him or he knows it's going to be a success. Like, there's not many sequels with Will Smith in it. That's why he didn't go and do Independence Day, the second one. Even after so many years, everybody else kind of went back, but Will was the only one who didn't go back. And it's not that they didn't want him, he didn't want to be a part of the movie. And it flopped.
Yeah.
For that. With Bad Boys, especially, I think when it came to Bad Boys, he was not going to do the movie if Martin did not come back.
Oh, yeah. And there was some rumors that going on about like Martin, like one of them doing it alone. And that kind of had me feeling some type of way as well.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, just everything. I guess Jay, what were y'all thinking when y'all first heard? I know everybody's excited because we really want to see that again. But just after all this time, what were y'all feeling?
I have been hyped about it for a very long time, just because I really like y'all said, Bad Boys 1 and 2, especially 2. 2's my favorite by far, like easily by far. That's my favorite one. And I just been looking forward for the third one. I was looking for the trilogy, you know, something to just cap off everything that they have been through and stuff. And so I had really high expectations going into it. And I was I was surprised, number one, like the execution of everything, how well it was done after it being such a long period of time and then just not having the same plot going on and stuff. So it's just, I don't know, I like the way that they executed it.
For me, I was really excited for 2 reasons. One, because I was thinking maybe we're going to see Johnny Tapia again, because that character was really good to me as a villain. And then 2, I was excited for Martin to get back on the big screen. You hadn't seen that many Martin Lawrence films anymore, or TV shows to be in general. So
He got retired from it, so he
it
probably
seems-
wake up. And it's funny too, because after watching the movie, I didn't know that they made a TV show. There's a TV show, pretty much it's set with Martin's sister, who's played by Deborah Union, she's in California and she's with Jessica Alba. And it's in the Bad Boys world. I didn't even know that until after I watched the movie. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, same name, like they talk about Will and them and everything like that. Like I didn't realize that was a show. But kind of like what X said, like I've been excited for the movie. But one thing that I was worried about, and I was gonna watch the movie anyway, I knew the comedy was gonna be good.
Yeah.
I was worried about the story. Because after so long, I didn't know if they're gonna like, okay, yo, it's been 20 years, but we're gonna set this movie right after Bad Boys 2, or maybe a year or two after Bad Boys 2. Whenever we got the trailer and then they kind of started talking about it, it's like, no, it's been this long, like it's been the amount of time as us not having a movie and just getting back into it. The way they handled the movie was perfect. Like they handled the movie as if, yo, y'all are not dumb, so we're not gonna make it seem like y'all are dumb. Like, we know Martin is old. We know Will is old. Right. We know they've been through 20 years of life since Bad Boys 2.
But they approach it so well.
And they approached it perfully well. And
let's pause real quick and decide right now, is this a spoiler-free review or not?
I was just about to say that. Minor spoilers.
Okay.
Minor spoilers. Let's not talk about the ending.
Yeah. Don't bring up that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the ending, but because that's like something that they handled well. And then in a way, I was like, in a way, I didn't like how they handled it at first. Whenever they first made that reveal, I was like, I didn't really get it. But then whenever Will has that moment where he kind of goes, and then they find out what happened, and they go to the past, that this happened way before even Bad Boys 1. I was like, that is good. That is a good way to kind of connect that little piece, that information we found out at the end of the movie. Because if it was like, yo, this happened in the 20-year gap, it's like, okay, but we didn't really see. We don't know who this random person is. It's like off screen. But the fact that they did it before even Bad Boys 1, it's like, okay, that's like prequel term. So it's fine. Yeah. It's fine because we don't know what happened before Bad Boys 1. And it's not like they're about to do a prequel and they already are older now. They're not to make them look, CGI is good, but they're not about to do that.
That being said, man, they did a good job of making Will Smith look like he was from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, you talking about Gemini Man? See, Gemini Man, I still need to watch. Gemini Man.
I want to go back to what you said. I'm glad that AC went off. It was probably making shit sound bad. Because the comedy was actually the part that I was most worried about.
That's right.
Because I was worried about the script.
Because it was a trilogy?
I was worried not because it was a trilogy, but because it had been so long. And at the end of the day, man, you're for the most part subject to the script to a pretty big degree. And so at the end of the day, man, like if you have a director and you have a script, some directors are pretty solid with the script and kind of want things to fall together as they fall together in the script. Like when I direct, I don't particularly do that. Like I'll have a script, but it's really just a blueprint, and there's really just moments that need to be captured in a particular scene. And so a lot of times, if I'm working with a couple of actors, I'll say, man, if you're having a problem with the way this is worded, don't say it that way. If you have a problem with, what you think is the delivery of this line, say it the way that you feel like it's going to be delivered, but as the character.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's what Will Ferrell does, because most of his movies, they're improv. They have the script, they have the outline and everything, but they improv pretty much the conversations. Like, they have the topic, and then they kind of just talk. They kind of just go. Like, if you've ever watched, like, the Step Bros bloopers, or, Anchorman, and things like that, like, they improvise going on. So that is a good way for it to go. Especially off of a script that's been 20 years. I keep saying 20 years. I don't know if it's like been a full 20 years or not.
It's been a great period of time. And I was just worried that the script would be something that Martin and Will couldn't say. Yeah. And so that was kind of my biggest thing. And I felt like the comedy of it would be kind of the main thing to suffer in that regard.
Yeah. Because their chemistry is really good together.
It is.
Watching the movie, it felt like you have your best friend. And then out of nowhere, he goes off, and then he comes right back, and you're just picking it back up.
And it
literally
felt like that.
Viewer.
The movie felt like it was Bad Boys 3. Yeah, it didn't feel like
it felt like they made the movie 2 years after Bad Boys.
Yeah, it felt like it was literally a time skip in the movie verse, but for us, it actually has been 20 years. But in the movie, it's like they did a time skip. It's like they didn't make us feel dumb. Yeah. Like with certain characters, like what's his name, the boyfriend. Whenever he like popped up in the scene and things like that, the way they kept all that stuff,
a lot of fan service and stuff like that.
Like
in that
they
movie
did a
that
good job.
I really did not expect.
Continuation.
So I mean,
because they didn't just leave. Because the only person who wasn't in the movie was Gabrielle Union. She was the only one that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
Besides that, everybody else made a return. The captain made a return. The wife made a return. The kids made a return for some point. Like. They all did a good job, and I think the new actors, the new cops that they brought in for what was it called, the little special group, the special task force that they had?
Wasn't it DACA, I believe?
I think it was.
Something like that. Like they did a good job, kind of fitting in and mixing well with Martin Lloyd. It wasn't really like, oh, they got some new people and
new blood,
old blood. Not even that. Like most of the new blood did good, but then that one person didn't do bad. No, they all did pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like even when it was like part of the movie, like the Asian dude and the white dude, the crazy one that they were like going on, like we learned about them. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't learn like their whole backstories and everything, but we actually learned about them. They just weren't characters. Yeah. That was in the movie. Like we actually got to know a little bit about them as well, so it kind of made them fit with the story of everything.
I think we've kind of covered a lot of the good stuff about it without going into spoilers. I'd say for now, I mean, just kind of in closing, we should do a ranking.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, what order do y'all put the three Bad Boys movies?
Okay, you go first.
I'll start, and I'll honestly say a lot of the dynamics I really vibed with. I think that Bad Boys 3 did a really good job of building from Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys 1, and a lot of those plot elements, like they're still struggling with the idea of Martin not sure if he wants to continue that life. It didn't start in that movie. That started back in Bad Boys 2. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I can confidently say that Bad Boys 3 was my favorite of the three. Actually, I'm really just going in reverse order. Yeah, I go 3, 2, 1.
Honestly, yeah,
3, 2, 1 is my.
That's mine too. That's mine. 3, 2, 1. Like I was very, very surprised.
I was trying to see what would put 2 over 3. Yeah. Because I'm like, 2's my favorite, but after seeing 3, man, I don't know. It just takes.
I think the only thing that would make 2 above 3, in my opinion, is the ending. That ending battle whenever they went to Johnny Tapia's mansion and everything like that. Like. I watched that movie so many times.
That was a really
good
scene.
So that will probably be the only reason why I would put Bad Boys 2 over 3. But aside from that, Bad Boys 3.
For me, I don't know. Like I still do 3, 2, 1 as well. But for me, what will put 2 over 3 was just their chemistry, or just their conversations with their villains, and just who they were fighting. Yeah. Like in 2, you get I'm the devil man. Like it's like.
That's
Johnny
Tapia was a really good villain.
He got to you emotionally.
Really and I would say the villain, she was good. We knew her motive.
Ooh, I'll bet.
We knew her motive, like automatic. Like she made it very clear what her motive was. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we went half in the movie trying to why is she doing all this? Mm-hmm. Like we knew what her motive was. So that was really good.
I think one of the things that really kind of boosts Bad Boys for Life is that Will's character gets an arc that feels like it goes all the way back to the first movie.
Yeah.
As far as him being that guy that always feels like he has to show how big and tough he is, always feels like he's that one exempt of those, those feelings of vulnerability. And it's just like everything all just kind of unfolded at once. Like he just became the most vulnerable he's ever been in all of the history of this universe, all in this movie, and he had to deal with that. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why it's able to work so successfully and get that nudge above, because it also elevates Martin's character as well, because now he has to respond to his best friend in a way that he's never had to respond to his best friend and so that shows a whole new aspect of that character as well. So everything about the 2 main guys is challenged to the absolute fullest. And not only that, everything is left open-ended towards the end. Mm-hmm. And so the possibility of another Bad Boys movie is just still out there.
Yeah, and like Martin and Will are there. They're already talking about like it's been I think 5 weeks in and it's been at the top.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Seeing them, these 2 roles that they're playing, right? The way that they interact with each other, I feel like that's kind of a representation of how they act in real life too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're probably best friends just like that. Type
Yeah.
shit. They've always have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
they
I
took
think
like
that's really cool.
they took like a tour on his YouTube. He put a video up last week, and like him and Martin went somewhere together. Like they went to go chill.
Think about it, bro. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin.
Martin.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's always been like that. That's
You know what's
just
funny?
always been cool, bro.
Growing up, I always wanted one of them to cross over into the other
Yes!
show. Like I always wanted
Bad
to see,
Boys,
like,
bro, there you go.
I want to see
There.
Martin pop up in Bel Air. Like I want to see Will pop up in Detroit with Martin. Like that would have been so dope to
You
see.
know what? Let's go ahead and do it since this is just a movie TV segment anyway. Let's do a sub segment of those two shows and just kind of because I've seen a lot of people do comparisons of those two shows and like which one was your favorite, which one impacted you the most. Me personally, I like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air better than Martin.
I have more experiences with Fresh Prince.
The reason why I like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air better than Martin is because I feel like it's so I feel like there's two different types of comedy. I feel like there's more of an intellectual comedy and then there's more of a slapstick kind of random comedy. And I don't think that anything's wrong with either one. You're gonna pull different types of audiences regardless. But I feel like some of the Martin comedy is just, man, how crazy can we get this? Because craziness is gonna be funny.
But then at the same time, I'm a big Fresh Prince fan, and Martin. I own both like full seasons. I don't know. I feel like when it comes down to it, you have two different perspectives. With Fresh Prince, you have the youthful black man's look of the world within the 90s. But then when you have Martin, you have a grown and older perspective of the world. I mean, look at Brother Man. He could never have a job. Will didn't really have a friend like that. He had Jazz. He was a struggling artist. But that's what it was to be a youthful black person back in the 90s. You were trying to create your art. You were trying to make your own thing. But for the older generation, it was rough. You couldn't find a job.
You know, that's actually a good point. That is actually a really good point because you do, now that you say that, I'm thinking about it, you do kind of see that a little bit more between the shows. Like, when it came to Will, you saw him going to school. You saw him.
Martin had his own apartment. He was trying to find his wife. He was trying to find
Gina, like Shanae, you had all this other stuff going on. There was an episode where they got robbed and everything in the building. They went through a lot, and it was more of like an adult thing for Martin. And not to say that Fresh Prince was still an adult thing, but you kind of saw it from the eyes of like somebody
at our age.
Yeah, at our age.
Yeah. But it's more so a growing thing, though.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Even though it's not necessarily an adult thing, you just see that progression of I'm just a dumb kid, I'm gonna do what I want, and this is just my crazy nephew, and I need to whip him into shape.
Yeah.
To the relationship that Will and Uncle Phil have towards the end.
Man, bro.
That is so important to realize for the black community because a lot of young black men don't have their father in their life.
Yeah.
And so they had some other representation of a father that over the years they look and it's like, man, this is my dad. You know what I mean? And so and on the flip side, like as you grow towards getting to that upper age, and now you're dealing with women who have kids, and so you have to step in and potentially play that type of role or whatever. You get to see kind of the effects of what you can have with a young black man who isn't necessarily your son. That dynamic between Will, like I think that, I mean, everybody loves and talks about the how come you don't want me man scene.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about that Will Smith and Uncle Phil part, but the part right before that, when it's Uncle Phil and Will Smith's dad, and you see how without Will there, Uncle Phil is defending this like this is his son, you know, and so those type of things I think are what for me give it a little bit of an edge because because that's not the only moment. We had the moment where Will Smith accidentally gave drugs to Carlton. You have the moments where Will Smith couldn't find an apartment.
They got lost in
when
the
he
car.
get married.
Yeah, like all that stuff. I feel like that show, to me, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air evolved more as a show, and the main character evolved more. And I think that was kind of like a representation of just life as a young man going forward. And I think that's something that people kind of overlook. They're both comedies, but I think with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air offered just a little bit more.
It did give you a little bit more, something to grow with.
Yeah, they have more life lessons. Like,
And not everybody,
yeah.
everybody is watching TV for that.
Yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Martin had a lot of life lessons, but if you compare him to like what Will and like what you saw in Fresh Prince,
You learned a lot.
You learned a
And
lot.
honestly, I don't think that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was scripted to go that way from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It was like a season on season thing.
Mhm.
That you like, will it continue? Will it not? They had a replacement of
it
Martin.
became so much more than what it
was
probably
supposed to
first.
be.
But
So
y'all,
I'm kinda-
know why Will Smith did that show, right? One of his his managers came to him and was like, "You don't have no money, and they want to do this show. This show will help you pay off some of your debt." And so Will Smith was like, "All right, let's do the show."
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it really wasn't supposed to be something that lasted several seasons. That whole arc and everything, like that wasn't anything that was planned. They just made all that up.
And watching that growing up, and as the season go on, and you started to see the characters in the show grow up with it, like with us in a way. Like at the end, I still remember watching the final season. I think it was the final episode. Will was kind of showing us through the studio and everything. He was showing everybody the dressing rooms and stuff like that. Like watching that episode was like, man, I've been watching this since I was a kid, and look at them now.
Yeah.
Like me, like that's something. That's something to see. I kind of say like when I was asking those questions at work, like, would you rather have this or this for the rest of your life? Would you rather watch Martin or Fresh Prince for the rest of your life?
Aw, man, don't do me too like that. I love the
So I gotta
content.
go first.
I like Tommy though.
And that's the thing.
I
It's a
love
hard
Tommy.
thing. But if I had to choose, I gotta watch this one show and all of its seasons for the rest of my life. It would be Fresh Prince.
I don't know, man.
But here's the interesting thing, man. If I had to bring one show back, I'd bring back Martin.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring
agree
back
with
Martin is because I feel like the way Martin was as a show, you can bring it back. Whereas the way Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was as a show and how it ended, you can't do it justice if you bring it back.
Yeah.
You know?
Because if they did decide, let's say next week we got like a little alert, hey, they're making a new Fresh Prince, and it's like it's Will and his family. That's what they would have to do.
You can't go back to Will being
Yeah,
a kid.
you can't go back to Will being a kid. They would have to do like the Girl Meets World type route in a way.
But then right now, like
Martin is a much better option to go with than trying to bring back Fresh Prince, because they can bring it back, people watch it, but it won't be the same.
I feel like with Martin, I feel like I'm Martin right now. Struggling with women, struggling with money, trying to make it in this world.
Hey, Martin had a life.
Struggling with women, Jay?
Oh, struggling with women, Christian. The struggles.
All right, well, let's make sure you're.
All right, I think we should probably move.
Let's go ahead and move on
Let's
to
do
this.
Kobe.
I mean, that's that. No. Let's do Kobe last.
Let's do
Kobe last, but we're actually going to break here and come back in just one moment. I'm back, baby. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into a segment that I'm really passionate about. Something that I really kind of talk about on a weekly basis, and that's Prime WWF/WWE. For those of you who don't know, I mean, y'all know what WWF and WWE is, but it's so drastically different now than it was 10 or so years ago. And it's pretty much just a weekly, like, it amazes me now that I think about it. There were no breaks. There were no, like, times where it wasn't on the air. There were no production periods where you're like, I mean, it's just week after week after week.
And there was hardly any like reruns too.
No, there were never any reruns. Week after week. I mean, it was every Friday, every Monday, or actually it was Monday and Thursday sometimes. Every Monday, every Thursday, they were in a different city doing another show, and it was coming live. Like, it was such an amazing experience, and it just disappoints me that thinking back, like, they have, like, people now have no idea how good that run was. Not just Raw, but SmackDown. Both of them together.
Yep.
Like, let's talk about, let's just open up with, like, just some of your favorite wrestlers growing up and some of your favorite arcs.
King Booker T. Washington.
King Booker?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and talk about that.
He won King of the Ring. King of the Ring. When he won that, and then they started calling him King Booker T. That was crazy for me. I like when he slapped his wife.
What was her name?
I forgot.
Man, that was. But see, that's the thing, man. Stuff like slapping your wife.
Can't get away with that.
You
now.
cannot get away with that type of stuff. Like, just in this generation, in this time of TV, people would flip their shit.
Yeah, the
like,
Miz calling him my lord.
Right.
My king.
It's funny that you bring up Booker T, because I just got through watching a series. It's like there was this segment where Booker T and Stone Cold were beefing, right? But but they didn't just go to the ring and do a regular match. They were fighting all over the city. Like they pulled up into the grocery store, fought. They fought in the parking lot. They pulled up and they fought in like a nursing home. Then they fought in like church. And then they went to like, you know where they do the confessions?
Yeah.
They did the confessions and they fought in there. It's like all this different, and I think Stone Cold said it best. They were talking about how the WWF has changed so much over the years. It's because back then, you didn't know what was going to happen on a week-to-week basis. And so one of the crazy things is, man, I caught myself watching just this really crazy match where Triple H was facing somebody and Stone Cold was coming down to the ring. It was Triple H and Kurt Angle. And they were having this big, crazy fight. Stone Cold came down to the ring. He was messing stuff up. Everything was just so crazy. And I looked down in the YouTube comment section, and I see this comment, and this comment resonated with me so well. It said, keep in mind, this was just a regular episode of SmackDown. People don't get this quality content from pay-per-views nowadays.
That is true.
Like, they had championship matches on Mondays, championship matches on Thursdays. They had so much to look forward to. You didn't have to sit there and save up your money and just wait to pay off some pay-per-view just to see some good matches. Ever.
Yeah, you're getting a blockbuster title every week.
With a story, with explosions, with beds in the ring. It was nice.
Beer bottles being cracked open on people's heads.
I
think Stone Cold and, unfortunately, The Rock were probably my two favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
Growing up, just...
unfortunately, on The Rock.
I don't know, bro. I feel like a lot of people say that. The Rock's their favorite wrestler.
Man, but here's the thing, man. The Rock was so good.
Yeah.
People don't understand that as an entertainer, this is one of the really the best characters that I think ever created. But I mean, the way they present him as a character is really what he was. He was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Mm-hmm. He was incredible. When he got that microphone, you didn't know what was going to happen. It was such an amazing experience.
You just hear everybody in the crowd just yelling in suspense, bro. He ain't even said nothing yet.
And the crazy thing is, there were so many times that they tried to make The Rock the villain.
Yeah.
And they could never do it because people just love The Rock so much.
You have to bring out Stone Cold, bro, and then it's a toss-up. You're like, well...
But you know what, man? Here's a very interesting thing.
I love that rivalry, too. That's like my
here's
favorite
a very
rivalry.
interesting thing that Stone Cold did. Stone Cold did an interview, and he said that him and The Rock were having a title match at WrestleMania. And so Stone Cold felt like, man, I feel like my career is on the decline. And I need a buzz. So he goes to The Rock and says, hey, I know that you're supposed to win this match, but let me win it. Right? Because you're The Rock. No matter what, people are going to come here to see you every single night. People are going to pay to see, the pay-per-views with you in it. People are going to watch to see you. Me, I don't have that, And so this match is more important to me than it is to you. And so, like, The Rock let Stone Cold win the match. Like, stuff like that, like, it's just, people like to talk about, oh, it's not real or whatever. But, I think that that's really kind of the joy of it. Mm-hmm. Really kind of the joy of it. It's just like, the way we watch anime or really the way we watch any other show.
It's funny that you bring that up, too.
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
And I was just gonna say back then, like that never crossed my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was seeing, oh man, they're just pro wrestlers. Like, I do this shit all the time here at the house. You know what I mean? They're just doing it on a big stage, and okay, there's a lot more blood and stuff like that. Okay, they're doing some crazy stunts. I didn't really start diving into whether it's staged or not until I don't know, junior year of high school, maybe even senior year. I just never thought of it that way. So
See, with me, like growing up, I couldn't really watch. Like my mom and my dad didn't really care for wrestling too much. They didn't really want us watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, whenever they weren't home, I'd get home from school and there's something that would be on, and I was watching it. It's like my two favorite is The Rock, but The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Because I just loved how random he was. Just
Undertaker was so random.
Just being able to a match going on and you just out of nowhere.
Out of the coffin a couple of times before,
just like that. Not only that, but the lights going off.
Remember
you
when
look
he
at
came
the
out of the
stage
crowd?
and you just see the Undertaker just with his hair just
With
walking
the
down,
hat,
just like
the hair,
what?
crazy,
And he would come in, he would do something and leave.
I loved that. The Undertaker's my favorite wrestler also. I loved that about The Undertaker. He would just, I mean, if he didn't have his own arc, it didn't matter. He would make his own arc.
Exactly.
It's like, okay. And he wouldn't take no bullshit. There would be times like another wrestler would come out to the ring and say, you know, I want Triple H. He has the title. He sucks. And I think that I'm the best wrestler to ever walk back down to this ring. Lights come off. Lights come back on. Undertaker's in the ring. Didn't nobody say nothing to you, Undertaker. Undertaker's in the ring. Choke slam. And now you're in a feud with me because you just called yourself the best while I just so happen to be in town today.
Yep.
Like, so...
I like when he threw a ref at a ref.
Exactly. Like, it was stuff like that that made me, like... it made me realize, yo, this isn't real, but I don't care. Like, it was so entertaining, just the random stuff. Like, growing up, especially, like, little times I did get to watch it, you're just seeing shows like, there wasn't a show like that.
Yeah.
There wasn't a show like that where you can literally turn it on and not know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember so many matches, like, it was a match going on, I forgot who was fighting, and it was getting close to the end, then out of nowhere, the lights go off. You're like, what? And then Undertaker pop out, slams both of them, and leaves. It's like, what?
Yeah. I remember one time the Undertaker won the Royal Rumble. And so when you win the Royal Rumble, you get to challenge whoever the champion is at the next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But since they had a few different shows going on, that person who won the Royal Rumble could challenge either one of those guys that he won. So for the next 3 weeks, Undertaker just popped up on everyone else's show, like all the other champions, looked at him, beat him up, and then left. Just to say, I can beat up either one of you, but I'm still going to choose one to take the title from.
I think that shows a lot whenever you got to see WWE versus Raw.
Yeah.
That's when you really got to see, like,
Raw versus SmackDown?
Yeah, Raw versus SmackDown. Like, it was like that. Those
or like the invasions. When
yes.
Versus like WCW or ECW. They did so much back then. But you know what I think really made SmackDown and Raw and just the WWF, what made it successful is that they took their own creative liberties no matter what. Yeah. They didn't worry about, oh, we can't do this, oh, we can't do that, or we don't want to offend these type of people, or we don't want to offend these type of people. They made fun of Canadians, they made fun of Italians, they did the craziest stuff. They had Edge and Lita fucking in a bed in the middle of the ring with hundreds of thousands of people literally watching.
Including kids.
Yeah, including kids. They had this fucked up segment where Kane and Triple H were feuding. And so Triple H, to get back at Kane, pulled up at like this funeral home where Kane's best friend had like got killed or something like that, just died, right? And the most fucked up thing that I've ever seen happen. Dude, Triple H gets on top of this he gets on top of this corpse, bro, and starts fucking this corpse, right? And you would think, okay, this is probably something that lasted a minute. I went and rewatched that. That's a 7-minute segment of him fucking this dead corpse. And at the end, he pulls out this little pudding and says, "Oops." He pulls out this little pudding and he says, "Oops, I fucked your brains out." And he throws it at the camera. Like, that shit is so fucked up. But it's the fact that the WWE, they didn't give a fuck back then.
No.
They did not care
at all.
and I think that was they had with Eddie Guerrero and Chavo or something like that. They were beefing, and so Eddie Guerrero comes out and he's like, "Guess what? I'm going to fuck your wife, and I think your son is my son." And so now we're gonna have a ladder match for the contract of custody for this kid, and they had the kid walking down to the ring and standing there and looking all sad, like, who's my new dad gonna be? Like, I mean, it was, and one of the, I'd say another one of the top 5 most fucked up things that they did were when they had Vince McMahon, he lost the match and he was walking around and they were trying to make it seem like he was suicidal. And so that he walks into his limo and the limo explodes, right? And so they basically were saying, "Man, Vince McMahon is dead," and everyone's coming out and they're paying their condolences and they're being sad. And this goes on for about 3 weeks. Like, they literally just like I listened to some reports like the WWE, their stock dropped because they thought Vince McMahon was dead. All these other organizations were like sending flowers and sending gifts to the WWE corporation because they're thinking that Vince McMahon is dead. They're thinking he is dead. And the only reason why they didn't, literally the most fucked up thing that could possibly happen. The only reason why they stopped that story is because Chris Benoit died in real life. He died in real life. So Vince had to come out and say, "Here I am, I'm alive, and this is why I'm here. We gotta talk about this." But it's just like, man, that's why I don't like it when people try so much to force the way they think or the way they feel something should be on someone else. Like when it comes to gaming, when it comes to different movies, TV shows, because at the end of the day, when you give the creative liberty to writers or a company or a director or a group to just do what they want, a lot of times, man, they're going to do the right thing. And I think that's what the WWF and WWE was all the way until they decided that they wanted to be really, they really wanted to double down on being PG. Yeah. So bra panties matches out the window, like those little, I mean, they had a match where these 2 chicks were wrestling in pudding. Like, they were sexist. They were like just crazy back then.
And you bringing up that whole giving people the liberty and freedom of like the creative art, that just made me think of the whole My Hero situation that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get too much into it since we got other topics and stuff, but that really, it's been bugging me because now we don't really know the state of the My Hero manga because people are just coming at the creator in such a bad way, and it's so, from somebody who, I don't understand why people say they want something, they do it, and then they want more. He apologized, he changed the name of the character, said that the rest of the story was going to go on this way, and then he was sorry. And people who are still sending death threats, people are still burning their manga collection of him, people are still like trying to find out where he lives. That is messed up.
Yeah.
That is really messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
so with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next segment, which is we wanted to spend some time talking about the late Kobe Bryant, who was just such an influence, such an incredible athlete, such an incredible person, and it's just a big shame what happened. So who wants to kind of open up and say some words on that?
Kobe was more than just an impact to the basketball world. He was an impact to 2 whole generations of this world. One that grew up with Michael Jordan and one who knew of Michael Jordan. And so when you have Kobe, he did more than that. He inspired numerous athletes, not only in NFL, but soccer, hockey. Everybody wants that Mamba mentality. You take it in your business. You take it in your passions. He made it okay to be obsessive about your craft, your art, whatever it is that you care about. Kobe made it to the point where you can be selfish. You can care about this one thing that you love so much and take it to the next level.
And you know what? It's interesting that you say that because a lot of people didn't understand what type of life Kobe would live after that because it seemed like he was so deeply invested in himself in terms of being the best possible basketball player that he could be, being the best. And so people felt like once that was done, what would he do? And one of the things that he said was, that's just me when I'm passionate about any stage of my life. Now that I feel like that chapter of basketball is over, I can confidently, freely, and without question, move on to the next chapter of my life and put the effort that I did put into basketball to what I want to do now, being a storyteller, being a writer, being a filmmaker,
a coach, if you
exactly,
want.
all of those different things, and like you could see that he meant it. The years after he retired, he meant everything that he said, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about him.
With me, like I've always been on and off of basketball. Growing up, I used to watch it every day. Like me, my brother, and my dad, we would be watching basketball, and Kobe was always something that we would watch. Like I wasn't even really a big Lakers fan, but I was always a Kobe fan, and just being able to watch it, like most of the time, I didn't even care if they were going against my team, the team that I liked back then, which was the Sonics, the Seattle Supersonics back then. And I didn't even care if they were going against them. I wanted Kobe to win. Like, it was just always that. And whenever he did retire and he started doing things, whenever he started coaching his daughter and he was doing Little League stuff, doing like behind the scenes and stuff, he was writing a book. That was interesting. And like how you said, he put that mentality into everything. And it really sucks to see. Like now, people are trying to really take that now that he's gone.
Yeah.
And before then, people would say it, they didn't really take it into effect like how he did.
They didn't understand
They didn't understand it, but now that he's gone, people are thinking about it. They're going back and watching those interviews. They're going back and reading those statements.
What was the Mamba mentality?
Yeah, exactly. And now people are like, man, I need to get that.
It's something that he
now.
was always all about ever since he was first on press conferences and stuff like that when he first went into the league. And I don't really want to talk about him from sports, like an athlete. You know what I mean? He was much more than just an athlete. And the Mamba mentality, that alone, it takes his character a lot deeper. Just like understanding his vision, what was going on in his mind, like how he attacked certain things. He had certain goals, personal achievements that he wanted to accomplish, and he would do so.
Yeah.
And while making himself a better person, he was making everybody around him better too. And he was raising the standards, constantly raising the standards, just not for himself, but for everybody around him, So that's what really made Kobe an inspirational magnet, And honestly, for people, like you said, we saw for 2 generations, we saw Kobe. We grew up watching Kobe, and then the generation before that, they saw Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw the legacies getting passed down. I don't know where I was going with that.
In a way, I guess I can piggyback off that. Because right after that, I guess you could say people would say that next person would be LeBron.
Yeah.
And for that, this I guess third generation of going in would be like the LeBron generation in a way. And the fact that he just passed Kobe's record right before that happened.
It was literally like 2 days.
Yeah, like 2 days before it happened. They're talking about it and everything, and then that happens.
Yeah.
And you can see it like it goes. Now that I think about it, did Michael Jordan ever say anything? Like, did he ever?
He released a conference, not a conference, but a statement. He just said a great's been lost, if I remember that correctly.
Okay, because I don't know why I think about that now. I didn't know if he actually went into.
He did. He gave his condolences from what I know.
Yeah, he didn't do anything big. If that's
that's what I was wondering. Yeah, he did anything big like that.
But like for us, man, growing up, we didn't grow up watching Michael in the '90s for the most part. From a sports standpoint, like Kobe was like our Michael. Kobe was that guy that was like, man, this dude's scary. This dude's like unstoppable. Don't let him get the ball. Don't let him do anything. He's just going to like his mentality was, if you're gonna do it, kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't half-ass shit. Don't 80% shit. Don't 95 shit. you go 100% and you fuck up whatever it is that in front of you, if it for whatever reason is an impediment to whatever your goal is. You know, and I think that's just that really encompasses everything that Mamba mentality is about. Just doing it and killing it, no matter what it is in your life. But one of the most beautiful things that I've talked to people about is that when you think about this legacy, you know, him being, you know, whether you think he's a top 10 player or top 15 player, man, this is one of the greatest basketball players of all time who never had a son. You know, he had daughters, and I think the most beautiful thing about that is, as great as Kobe was, like, he never pressured his wife, like, oh, I gotta have a son, I gotta have someone who could live on my legacy. That's one of the most beautiful things about him. There's been times where his wife came to him and said, hey, do you want to try again, see if we can get a son? You know, and he was like, what do I need a son for? You know, like talking about how his daughters can live on that same legacy that he had, you know, and it's just, to me, it really disappoints me that people are trying to use his death as an opportunity to have clout, like, you know, like the thing with Gail trying to bring up that shit that happened early in his career, you know, people trying to, like if you've always been critical of Kobe, that's fine, you know, but it's obvious that if you're doing this at this time, it's because you want people to look at you and you want people to pay attention to you, and you're doing it for clout. And to me, that's just kind of the most disgusting thing that you can do. Because it's not just Kobe that was affected by this. This man's teenage daughter died, you know, in a helicopter crash.
And that kind of made me mad because I saw people, even people at work, customers, people at like on comments and stuff was bringing like, oh, well, he did this and this and this and this and this and this while he was alive. And this. It's like, it's like, why are you bringing? Why does that matter? Everybody does something bad in their life. Not everybody is perfect. Everybody has moments where they mess up.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to bring it up now? He's dead to try to bring him down? Oh, we don't all need to be hyping sad that Kobe's dead. He's just another person. That's messed up to say.
Yeah.
That's real messed up to say. And the fact that you got to bring up all those negative things so you can make a non-existent point, pretty much, because why are you bringing it up?
Non-existent point.
Like, there's no point in you bringing this up. Like, seeing comments and stuff like that and talking to people like that is like, all right, I get that you don't care. Maybe you don't care about Kobe, but if you don't care, why are you going straight to his name?
Yeah, why'd you even say anything?
Yeah, like, why'd you even say anything? Why are you going to his name?
If you don't care, just don't care.
Just don't care.
Yeah, just don't.
Just, if I ask you, hey, what do you think about Kobe? Oh, I don't care. Yeah, I don't need to, oh, he did this when he was younger, he did this whenever he was growing up, or he did this when he was in the league, he did this in this year. Does that matter? What did you do when you were growing up? What did you do when you was this age? What was you doing when you was doing this sport? Oh, you don't want to talk about it. Why do you want to bring it up his?
That reminds me of a Facebook post that you shared. Going with the war veterans, and you was talking about Kobe's death, and how there was veterans that were going to a previous veteran, and they were saying, I forgot what he was saying, but I understood where he was coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe wasn't a veteran who died for his country, but for us, having an idol like him, that was like losing a hero. You know what I'm saying? You can't take that from somebody just because somebody wants to mourn over somebody's death. Let them mourn.
Yeah.
You don't have to be negative towards them.
You don't have to be a part of that. If that's you.
Yeah.
If that he was a hero, just because he wasn't a hero to me, that's cool. That's you.
Yeah.
That don't mean he wasn't a hero to other people. That wasn't to me. He wasn't a hero to dads or people who were just becoming a dad. Like what you said about his daughter. That is beautiful. The fact that he's like, yo, what do I need a son for?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. It doesn't matter that he wasn't a veteran.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson wasn't a veteran. Everybody was sad about him dying. I'm still sad that Michael Jackson's dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does that matter? What does that mean of him being a veteran, yo? Like, what is that? Okay, my dad used to be in the army, in the military. Mm-hmm. If he died, I don't know, well, my dad was a veteran. No. Why does that matter? Yeah. Why does that matter?
Yeah.
You get a Veterans Day, cool. Why does that matter? Don't take me wrong, I'm not disrespecting veterans or anything like that at all. But it's like, you shouldn't need to compare it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need to compare it at all. And the fact that people want to compare it to make a point, again, it's a non-existent point. You don't need to make that point at all. You're just wanting to compare it so you can have your reason.
I mean, to be honest, man, there's just no, there's never an instance, and I honestly don't know what's wrong with people, but I would never think to speak ill on someone who just passed.
Exactly.
Regardless of how evil I may think that person was, if that person did me harmfully or anything, man, when you lose your life, man, like, I mean, come on, as many bad things as you can think of about Kobe, it's probably three times as many good things. There's 3 times as many good things you could say. Like, you mean to tell me that all you want to talk about is some little bullshit that happened when he was barely an adult, died in his mid-40s, right? Some chick said, Kobe has all this money, he doesn't do anything for the black community. For what, bitch? What does he have to do for you? What does he have to do for me? What does he have to do for X, Mitchell, J? Nothing. He's taking care of his family. Yes. Well, first of all, he has.
He's put a lot of people into college without bragging about it.
Exactly. First of all, he has. Second of all, if he didn't, bitch, so what? At the end of the day, you're not his wife. You're not his daughters. You're not his family. He is not required in any way, to use what he has gained, what he has worked hard for, because, bitch, you're not going to make your $22,000 a year. You're not giving nothing to black folk, and you think just because he makes more that he should be trying to take care of y'all? You better get your dumb ass on. I do not like people who use, first of all, I don't like people who use bad logic. Now people don't like people who use bad, disrespectful, fucked up logic.
Because, going on that.
Shut up,
All right, let's take a moment.
Yeah, her saying that you just mad. Maybe he has been doing stuff for the community, for the black community. You just mad because he's not doing it in your community. You weren't that lucky person or lucky person that he's having to do something for. So you're mad about it. That's cool.
It's just disappointing that people can see that people are so thirsty for their own attention and their own admiration that they haven't built any of or any connections with people to gain such, and they see other people getting that, and they feel resentment and anger because they're like, oh, if something happens to me, the whole world won't be happy about me. Well, maybe they would, bitch, if you would do something with your life instead of fucking around and thinking and being terrible towards other people because life isn't going the way that you want because you're 20 and you're dumb.
But on the bright side, there's a whole generation of people out here who are hungry, who are just not kind of picking up on that mama mentality. Maybe they didn't pick up on it when he was alive, but now they're getting it. And they're going to take that mentality and they're going to be great. Whether it's in their medical field, whether it's in their own profession.
I hope so, because I don't like us being in this time where everybody has to be jealous of one another.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, jealousy is one of the biggest things that humans have a problem with, and we shouldn't. Why just because somebody's being successful, you gotta be jealous of that person? Why don't you become successful? Trying to make sure it's going.
Oh, wait, but we have the live video.
Well, I don't know when that ended, because I didn't end there.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's just do it now.
I'll just say it for you now. Idiot. Oh, wait, toss me the hat.
Okay. All right, so.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay. We're back, baby. We had a.
That was perfect.
We had a little thing, and so we're just gonna close out. You can close it out, Mitchell.
All right, so.
Next week,
next
we
week
have the gaming, and we have the gaming episode coming out. Mitchell's gonna be a host. I'll probably co-host with you, by the way. I got a couple ideas.
All right. But yep, that's about it, guys. We'll see y'all next week. I am the Strike Freedom.
X.
I am Berserk Blitz.
Grown B.
And we'll see y'all next week.
I feel like we was in a real heated episode.